in 1 minute. I always like to see somebody pop up. Somebody will usually pop up even if they don't stay. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Alright, people, we're live again with Ray Blankenship, and let me give you a little bit of information. First off, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, this is going out on Small Town Underground on YouTube. It would be awesome if you subscribe to that channel. Help me build it up. We got a lot more to come. We got more interviews. We're going to be doing more podcasts. We're going to try to build the community, get better with video and audio and other stuff. As before, we're streaming this on this public account called Kingdom Lum Small Town. I know the name sounds stupid. I couldn't put what I wanted to put. So you can help us grow this here because it's public, and when we have our group shares, we can't share the links with anybody, but going public like this we can until they figure it out and they do away with us. But we're already started streaming, and we hopefully will have some people come in here in a little bit. So without further ado, if you don't already know him, and most of you do, is Ray Blankenship. Me and Ray have been working together for quite some time now in the 2A community, and he is going leaps and bounds in this arena, trying to push further and further for constitutional rights, constitutional carries, the Second Amendment, anything that protects our way of life. And he's went way further than I could ever think about going, and so I appreciate you being here tonight on such short notice.
Well, thank you,
and we're just going to talk. We're doing this live stream, and it's going to be pretty laid back. So take it away, Ray. What do we got?
Well, first of all, you know, we all kind of get into this rut, especially in the political landscape, and you know, especially when it comes to election cycles. And you know, I've noticed a lot of back and forth with other campaigns and stuff, and all the mudslinging that's going on. I mean, it's Mortal Kombat out there right now, and so it's just crazy to me. But you know, there was a person that asked me the other day, said, you know, who are you voting for senator? And I said, well, I can tell you right now who I'm voting for, and it's Colton Moore, hands down. And they were like, well, why Colton? You know, why not Stephen Henry? And I said, well, you know, don't get me wrong, a lot of people might shrug on this a little bit, but I like Stephen Henry. I think he's a nice guy, and I've never had any problems with him. He's always been respectful for me, or to me, and I've been respectful to him. And but what kind of got me with him running, and there's several things that's going on right now, but with his campaign, I just don't need a weak Republican in office. You know what I'm saying? Not right now, and not ever, to be honest with you. But the thing of it is with him, you know, I guess I probably ought to just go ahead and just tell you kind of where I started on all this, because I don't want to really get into this conversation without giving you a little bit of detail about how I got here, right? But it started for me 10 years ago, and basically I'm going back and forth and, you know, sending, you know, letters out and phone calling and everything. You know, why am I paying a fee for carrying my gun? You know, I shouldn't have to do that. You know, that's extra tax. That's against the Constitution. I shouldn't be taxed for that. And then there was a huge push in Virginia. You know, a huge push. Ralph Northern got in as governor, and people are already just freaking out because they're thinking they're going to lose their guns and their gun rights and things, because that's exactly what he was pushing for. And so I was watching all this go down. I was watching the TV, and I was like, you know, I got to do something about this, you know. So I went with a group at that time, and you know, actually, matter of fact, I went by myself, but I met a group there, right? So I felt compelled to do it because, you know, I felt like Virginians would do it for me.
Now you're talking about when they went and did the peaceful march in Virginia, correct?
Yes, there was over 22,000 people, heavily armed, at Lobby Day. That's what they call it. So basically, what you're going to do is you're going to go lobby for your cause. That's the day that you get to talk to your representatives and lobby for your cause. So we had lots of people that showed up, really good people, and I always mention this every time I tell this story, but you know, you had Black Panthers there, you had Antifa, you had all kinds of different various groups.
Gay activists
Yes,
that were there.
they were there too. You know, so a lot of people don't think that we have common ground, but this is one thing that we do have common ground on. And so anyway, the night before I left, you know, or left to go down there to the square and everything, I was watching the news, just kind of seeing what was going on, you know, and of course it was like it was going to be a bloodbath down there. There was going to be hundreds of people that get shot and killed, and I mean, the media had it so hyped up, you know, it really kind of scared me a little bit, because I was thinking to myself, you know, I could get killed down there. You know, I could get myself killed down there. But at the same time, I was thinking, I've got to do this. I've got to stand up for these people, because they would stand up for me, you know, and they would do it for me.
I remember that feeling.
So it was rough, you know, and it was one of those feelings deep down inside that you just, if you don't know the feeling, you'll never understand it. But anyway, I got with the Virginia Citizens Defense League while I was down there, and you know, they basically, you know, they were doing sanctuary counties for, you know, Second Amendment, you know, and a lot of the groups were coming together, and they were petitioning their commissioners, and you know, they were trying to get some sort of protection in their county. So I got with them. I got a lot of information from them. I picked their brains. I talked to senators and legislators while I was there. It was a real eventful time for me, because it really kind of helped me to, you know, I don't know, kind of consume it all in and figure it all out as I was going. You know, it was pretty cool. But the morning I got up, I got my vest on, everything, because, you know, of course, we're expecting it to be a bloodbath, right? I just got done watching the news. You know, the news is telling me how bad it's going to be, and they're telling people, don't show up, don't go down there. So, you know, I'm checking everything, making sure I got everything, and I'm like, all right, because I don't want to walk out the door unprepared, and grab my rifle, everything, get it in the backpack, and I'm walking out the door, and I keep thinking, I'm forgetting something. I'm forgetting something, Roy. And so I said, what am I forgetting? And it was like, I forgot to pray. Yeah. So I get back and put the door, you know, shut the door back, and I turn around and get down there on my hands and knees, and I pray like I've never prayed before, because I really honestly thought I was going to die that day. And so anyway, I said my prayer, and you know, I grabbed my stuff and walked out the door, and you know, got in the car, and you know, met my friends that were coming down there with me, and you know, we went through and we marched around, and you know, just it was hard to get through that place. There was so many people there, but you know, we had our communications down and everything, so we were very well prepared. And so anyway, that's all said and done. It's done deal. Everything was peaceful. We were picking up trash on our way out. You know,
right.
You know, trying to be respectful.
I remember that. It was as clean as it was.
Yes.
But it was cleaner than it was.
Yes, imagine that. You know, and I'll never forget the time I was talking to police officers over there, and I'm like, well, what are y'all expecting? Are y'all expecting a big shootout or something? And I had one police officer tell me, he said, if shooting starts, we're with you guys, you know. And I was like, well, you're in the right place. So we knew that the police down there, you know, were full of, you know, just the police department was full of patriots, and we didn't have anything to worry about, and neither did they. You know, they just blew it all out of proportion, because they thought, you know, these big right-wing extremists are coming down to shoot up the place, you know, or whatever. But that's not what I'm about, you know. I'm just about, you know, us saving our rights, keeping our rights, retaining our rights.
More of a statement.
Yes.
That's right.
And actually getting our rights back from where we've been trampled on over these years. And, you know, there's constitutional carry for one thing. But we'll get to that later. So I get back, right? I get back and I'm ready to go, you know, just like, you know, everybody else. And I was like, Catoosa County is going to be the first one on the map to get you know, our Second Amendment sanctuary, and I'm going to be so happy, and you know, it's going to be an accomplishment for me. But I started getting on Facebook and making up a page name, and then I get to looking, and I'm like, oh, there's already people doing this. Whenever I got back, I didn't think anybody was doing it, right? So I'm like, you know, and that's where I met you and Tyler and Ryan and you know, Jennifer, and just a barrage of people that came through the woodwork to help me. You know?
Right.
So I get all the paperwork I need. Now we're getting to the Steve Henry part, right? Get all the paperwork I need. And I establish on my Facebook group, you know, the Catoosa County Second Amendment Sanctuary group, I establish a political team that's going to help me kind of navigate a little bit on where we are politically, right? Because I didn't know, I've never been to a commissioner's meeting, never got involved in local politics whatsoever, so I really didn't know, you know? So I needed a team to help me, and they really helped me. A great team that come through for me. And everybody that, you know, that I tasked with a job, you know, they really come through. Angela Kittle's one of them, and you know, Darren, you know, they've just been great as far as supporters. I've got so many to mention, you know, but here we are, right? So I asked the political team, I'm like, all right, so who, you know, what is the commissioners board comprised of? Democrat, Republicans? Oh, they're all Republicans. So I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be
got this in the bag.
Piece of cake, you know. This is gonna be the easiest thing I've ever had to do in my life. Why am I sweating this, you know? And so I go before the board. I bring a speech in, a 5-minute speech, you know. I sign in, do all my thing, you know, and go in and make my speech and stuff. And, you know, I get a little feedback and stuff. And then I'm like, you know, I'll give it a couple of weeks and I'm trying to figure out what's the next step, you know. And I even talked with the sheriff and everything. I sat down with him, with Gary Sisk, and, you know, we had a really good conversation. And, of course, that's a private conversation. I'll never let anybody in on that. But I know where he stands, and you know, as far as I've seen for what I know about him and what I've asked him and vetted, he's a very good sheriff. Got no problems with Sheriff Sisk. So anyway, a couple of weeks later, you know, I kind of reach out to Steve Henry, and I'm like, hey, you know, what are we going to do about this? You know, and he was like, well, you know, I have to let the county lawyers look at it, and I was like, okay, well, Roy, as you know, a lot of the counties were getting, you know, resolutions, right? They were fighting for ordinances, but after the county lawyer got involved in everything, it was actually against the law to get a, you know, an ordinance for this because it fell underneath the state. So basically, you know, the commissioners told me, look, you know, we can't really do this. You know, we can. You'll have to go through the state first, right? So that's my next mission right there. We're going to get the Second Amendment Preservation Act going very, very soon, right? And so, anyway,
before you move on,
yeah,
is it what's the terminology for that bill? Is it SEPA?
Yes, SEPA.
SEPA. I just found out today that it was called SEPA because I'm used to constitutional preservation. So every candidate so far has been talking about it and been favorable of it. And so can you just give folks a little bit of insight on what you know on SEPA, right? And basically, from this point forward, you'll hear us in the group talk about constitutional preservation, right? But the proper name is SEPA, and we have constitutional carry now. So what is SEPA?
SEPA is basically a law, right, that keeps the federal government from coming in to your local county, you know, your city, whatever, and just enforcing their rule, right? So basically, they've got to go through the sheriff's department before they can even do anything anyway, because we have a
sheriff is your supreme law of the county, right?
That's exactly right. A lot of people don't know that.
They don't. The sheriff has a lot of power. The sheriff determines what goes on in the county. That's why everything that goes through the commission office is always worked on with the sheriff. They have to be in conjunction with each other on most things. I would take some things that are civil don't have to have the approval, but anything law enforcement related goes to the sheriff.
That's right. So basically, that's the process, right? So now we want it in writing. We want to make sure that the federal government, especially the federal government that we have right now, you know, under Joe Biden, I mean, if you look at what the ATF is doing, it's just unreprehensible right now. And so I'm just, every time I see something about the ATF coming up, I'm like, oh my goodness, here we go again. You know, why are you giving them so much, you know, so much pull? Because Marjorie had actually put out a bill. You know, she drafted a bill about disbanding the ATF, which I think is a great idea, because, you know, they need to be more into alcohol and tobacco instead of my firearms. You know, that's the way I look at it, because they shouldn't be into my constitutional rights. But you know, that's basically what it is. It keeps the federal government from getting any kind of support from our local government whatsoever to track down somebody, or, you know, whatever. So basically they just get denied at the gate. So that's what we're shooting for, right? Not literally, but, you know, figuratively. But, you know, that's what I'm really looking for. I'm looking to get this done so I can go back to the county commission and get the ordinance, you know, like I first started. So, and then let's get back to Henry, right?
Okay.
So I had the meeting with Henry, and they draft this, and this is a proclamation, and I'll read just the top portion of it. It says, proclamation of the Catoosa County Board of Commissioners establishing Constitutional Awareness and Celebration Week, and acknowledging and reiterating support for rights afforded to citizens of Catoosa County under the United States Constitution and State of Georgia Constitution. Now, whenever I seen proclamation being the first word on it, I was like, it's already weak. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody else is getting resolutions. You know, the proclamation is one step underneath the resolution, and a resolution is one step underneath an ordinance. So I get to reading it. You know how many times the Second Amendment's mentioned in this proclamation? 2 times. Just twice. And so I kind of said something to him about it, and he was like, well, that basically what he told me is that's what you're going to get. And I said, okay, all right, that's what I'm going to get. Wasn't too happy about it, but it's a step, right? It's a step in the right direction. This gives me some experience on how to deal with people and, you know, establishments and things of that nature. So, you know, this was a stepping stone for not only me, but also for our county. And so I got a lot of flack over this too, by the way. I had a lot of people hating me.
I'm sure you did.
They said, man, you just bent over and, you know, and took it. You know, you shouldn't have done that. You should have stood a little firmer. And I should have, but me not knowing the process and how it all worked, it was a learning curve for me. Won't happen again though. And that's why I'm here tonight. But
well, our county did something similar. It's a little more patriotic than that.
Yes.
I can promise you that. Our people were all over, but it too was a proclamation, and there was. I'm not knocking these proclamations, and I know you're not either.
No.
I don't want people to get the wrong idea out there, but it doesn't go as far as we wanted it to go. But the fact that the majority of the people were working with us, and no doubt that's pretty weak, right?
Yes.
That's a pretty weak one. But I'll say for this, you know, when Ray's talking about standing up, you have to understand, and I know a lot of you people out there do understand that, you know, if I was a millionaire, I would have an entire company devoted to our way of life here. But I'm not. We do these things for free, so sometimes you take what you can get. And when you take what you can get when you can get it, now here we are in a situation where we might be changing the structure of our future politicians. You understand how it works? So, you know, it's not like we're strong-arming anybody. We were taking what we could get, but now's the time that we can make some real changes, right? And so maybe we were a little ahead of the curve. And I just want to throw that out there.
That's
Ray
so
did
true.
everything that he possibly could, you know, and Yes, he could have got up and on a table, and we could have all just went crazy. But it's not like at the end of the day we're all on the same side here. But you know, what do you expect? So I didn't
That's
mean to
right.
interrupt.
No, you're good, brother. You're good. But you know, so here I am. You know, and don't get me wrong. I was very appreciative of the Board of Commissioners coming together and taking care of this. But in Dade County, the sheriff took care of it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Dade County, by the way, well, can we elaborate on that? We started a Dade County 2A, and we couldn't find people in Dade County. No shade to Dade County. We couldn't find anybody to take it over. I don't even know if the page still exists, but I created the page, and we reached out to several people, and like nobody wanted to take over that, and so it was laying kind of dormant before any of us could even get these things through our county seats. Dade County just went ahead and did it. They was just like, you know, hold my coffee, and bam,
watch this.
had wrote it up, and it was set in stone, and we were all turning our heads like, wow, you know, that was awesome.
Like that would have been nice, right?
Yeah.
But like I said, I talked to Sheriff Sisk about this, and you know, he was like, you know, I'm behind you with it. You know, we'll just go with it. You know, we'll get something with some teeth, and everything will be good. So, but anyway, you know, I start looking at the comparisons between Colt Moore and Stephen Henry, and you're taking a man that does a proclamation at least he could have got a resolution, right? And then you've got a man that stood up with Matt Gergler. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And
now
he
we're
said,
getting to it.
hey, you know, we want constitutional carry. Why do we want constitutional carry? Because our constituents are saying we need constitutional carry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know,
Mr. Moore.
And I'm going to fight for constitutional carry. And people, you know, mocked him, you know, on the floor, laughed at him, and everything else, you know, which was not very smart on their part.
And they did it. It was their own fault because he couldn't speak that day. He had to speak the next day, and the governor was given a state of the state. But let me go further and say, what did Brian Kemp run on before he got the governor's position? Right. He ran on constitutional carry. How long had we been talking about our constituents passing it? Mm-hmm. How long? How many? The reason that most of us got involved in this in one way or another led to the beginning huge push we did with our what do you call them?
Our 2A sanctuaries?
No, I'm having a brain dead here. The petitions.
Yeah, our petitions.
Was about SB 201. See,
yes.
So all of these people were running on this. Hey, we're going to do this without us even really asking for it. And the minute that we're getting pushed, what happens? Well, they don't want to hear anything about it except for Colt Moore. Remember that. They ran on these things. Oh, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. It didn't get done until what? A month ago?
Yeah. Yeah, I was there at the signing. You know,
I'm just saying. And that was an uphill battle too.
Yeah,
if it hadn't been for everybody out here and everybody doing everything behind the scenes on their phones and Georgia gun owners being involved, I don't think we'd be sitting here with constitutional carry.
Nope.
I really don't.
And you're mentioning Georgia gun owners. Let me tell you something, and this is the reason I'm even here tonight, right? I don't get into the mudslinging, right? But the thing of it is, you need to know. You need to know this. There's a group called GA2A, which back in the day they called themselves Georgia Carry. Okay? Now, they've been a huge gun rights organization for a while. And so let's just think logically here, just for just a second here. You got Matt Gergler that's wanting to get constitutional carry passed, right? So I asked Matt, I said, Matt, how many times did you talk to Georgia Carry GA2A while you were there? He said, the whole time I was there, Ray, they never asked me anything. They never even talked to me. Now, Roy, I'm not a very smart man, but I would think if you want constitutional carry passed, you would be going to Matt Girdler and saying, hey, we want constitutional carry passed, if that's what you're shooting for, right?
Right.
If you're with the constituents here in Northwest Georgia or Georgia altogether as a state, you would be hitting the guy that's introducing the bill, wouldn't you? You would be hitting him up saying, hey, can I help you out?
Right.
I would love to get behind your group here or your legislation, and maybe I can help you out with a few things.
Right.
Well, this is where I have a problem. When we started our sanctuaries, I remember Tyler kind of hitting him up about some things and saying, hey, we're starting this movement, and we're getting a lot of people involved, and, I think it's a great thing we're doing. And what they do? They come out bashing us. They bashed us so hard. They were like, what you're doing is stupid. You're not going to accomplish anything. You're wasting your time.
Right.
I mean, the name column was out the roof. I mean, it was just crazy. It's just childish crap, And I sat back and I watched a lot of the comments going back and forth. And I know Jennifer Tudor had, went back and forth with them, and Tyler had. And I never did on that part of it, because the thing of it was, I was too concentrated on getting everything done on mine. Right?
Sure.
I was just kind of seeing what was going on and didn't really know this group. But I've been a Georgia Gun Owner member for a while. And because why? Because they're activists, just like me, and they stand up and fight for people, right? So I'm like, this is the group I want to belong to, because they're active. I want to be around an active group,
right?
And they can't endorse anybody. They just give you the straight facts on legislation and what's being passed, and they'll spell out the record for any of the legislators that's out there. They just give it to you in a big, huge package.
Right.
It's great to get that information, because you can stay in tune with what's going on in Georgia.
Yes.
So, this group, GA2A, which they stole from Randy Ryder, right? He started this.
That's true.
Oh my goodness, he started this Facebook page
That's
up.
true.
And how many thousands of people did he have? Like 40,000 people or something?
It was a lot.
It was a bunch.
Yeah.
And
Randy Ryder was a real big part in this in the beginning. I know he had to move and everything, but hey, shout out to Randy DePopo.
Yeah, Popo
came up here for one of the rallies, and we met him, and he was a great dude, and but hey, he was an integral part of starting.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But Randy's job basically was, what he was doing was he was taking all the county leaders that had started all these, and he was grouping them together. And his logo, or not really his logo, but I guess his theme was 159 by Christmas time. You know what I'm saying? So he's trying to get all 159 counties involved and get it all grouped together to where we could all just stand together firm.
At that time too, of course, a lot of you might remember, I don't know what website it was, but it was showing all the counties and what color they were, and everybody was kind of racing each other. And,
it was great. Great movement, and then COVID hit and killed it all.
Remember that? Yep. COVID.
So, COVID killed it. So, but they stole their name from him. Of course, I guess they got a copyright or whatever it is that they've got. I hadn't researched, how they've got their name licensed or whatever, but it doesn't really matter to me. What I know is that this group endorsed Stephen Henry. They were already behind Mullis the whole time. All right. Been fighting Mullis for a long time. He hates my guts. I mean, he hates my guts.
Yeah, Mullis, I was at I'm not going to mention the fundraiser. I went to a small fundraiser here a couple weeks ago and see what it was all about. Met some people and everything, and Mr. Mullis was there. And mind you, I mean, like, I don't have anything to hide. I've known Mullis for a little while. He's known the family, but when this constitutional carry was going on and everybody was attacking the man, I just texted him straight up, and we had a conversation. And I was proud of myself, because no disrespect to Mullis. Mullis is not my enemy. Mullis has been a state senator, and Mullis has done some good things over the years, okay? Just because we don't agree on these things, but he chooses to call me his enemy, and that's perfectly fine. But
me too.
While I was there, he wouldn't even look me in the eye, and I thought it was fine. I just held my head up high. But no hard feelings, Mr. Mullis. I mean, step out of the way, and we're going to bring some people in that's going to continue this the right way. So,
and that's the fight that we're in, right? Because when Senator Mullis came to our rally that Bill Bioni and I put on and everything, he got up there with a speech and he said, "I'm the only one that can get constitutional carry passed. I'm the only one." While he was sweeping us with that shotgun through the crowd, and kind of fearing for my life a little bit there, Roy. It was crazy.
I'll never forget that either. And the funny thing is, nobody got it on film.
I know, that was crazy. Well, there is some film out there. There is some film out there.
Okay.
But that's locked up in the vault right now.
Okay.
But anyway, here we are. We're dealing with, this is what we're dealing with, right? We're dealing with the establishment for one thing, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
We're dealing with the establishment people that try to pad their own pockets, like GA2A. The group, I don't really know what their purpose is out there.
I thought their purpose was making money off of gun permits. Is that not?
Well, that's what I kind of thought it was.
Now,
but
don't
I was
quote us.
thinking,
We're just talking here.
No, but
I was
this is
always if and somebody
objection.
can prove me. Yeah, somebody can prove me wrong. But I thought that the biggest part of their revenue was from gun permits. So
yes.
I might be wrong because I didn't look into them, and I already know enough about them. But that's what I thought.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you a funny story because while I was at the constitutional carry signing, Kemp comes up, Governor Kemp.
Oh, that's right. So you went to the. I
Yes.
saw the pictures.
Yes.
I was working, couldn't get away from it. So go ahead. Yeah.
So I hit Governor Kemp up and I said, Governor, your fingers aren't cramping today, are they? And he looked at me kind of weird and he's like, well, what's that supposed to mean? And I said, because you got some important legislation to sign today, sir. And he was like, just kind of, and went on. I'm sure he's got a lot of pressure put on him over the years.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So anyway, GA2A group starts coming in, right? And Patrick Parsons, he comes out. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen or heard. It's hilarious to me. But they stop, and the guy says, "Hey, Patrick, how you doing?" And Patrick looks at him and says, "Why are you here? You here to protest or something?" I mean, it was great, dude. And I was like, "Oh my goodness, that's awesome!"
Yeah,
and
that's good.
that guy, he was so mad. You could just see the anger all through his body.
Yeah.
And he's just like, and he takes off and walks off and everything. But and that was just the truth of it all.
It is. It is.
I mean, that is truth.
Patrick Parsons is one of the first people that I saw on Georgia Gun Owners, and very thankful to have Georgia Gun Owners.
Absolutely.
I hope if you're out there and you're affiliated with them, let's not ever let them end up like the NRA. Let's make sure that we hold their feet to the fire and that they never change. I believe their hearts and their heads are in the right place, and kudos to Georgia Gun Owners for all of their time and effort into doing it. But great people.
Aaron Dorr and the Dorr brothers. I mean, they're hard-working people.
They are.
I mean, because they go to all these events and they stay down there at the Gold Dome and they pressure.
And man, I wear my Georgia Gun Owners shirt and it never fails. I'll be somewhere and people won't even know who they are, but I really like that shirt.
Yeah, so you need to join up.
I know. I'm going to join at the end of the month, actually. So I know it sounds cliched, but it is. I've got it all set up to do it, and I'm the last in line for joining groups.
Yeah, so you can go to ggo.com.
Yes.
And look them up, and get some membership in there. But like I was saying, there's no comparison here, people. There's no comparison between Stephen Henry and Colton Moore. Colton Moore on the 2A subject. And that's all I care about, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody's like, well, don't you care about the other amendments? To me, the Second Amendment is the most important amendment out there because it protects all the other amendments that we have.
Yeah.
And that's something that we need to focus on and take pride in, right?
You're absolutely, and I've said this on every podcast, and I'll say it because I always ask about this. If anybody goes back and looks at history, if anybody can see, you do not have to be a gun nut to understand the importance of the Second Amendment, because he who controls the food and he who controls the ability to protect yourself, they control the world, right? I mean, it's just the truth. It just like both of the last candidates have stated. And Colton Moore said, look at Australia and what happened. Look at China right now. Look back through history. Hitler, Stalin, Mao Zedong. It's not about us sitting here with guns. We don't sleep with guns in our on our best pillows.
Wait a minute. Hold up.
Well, I mean, some of us
I'm
might.
just kidding.
But you have to understand, and I'm stressing this so much because, you know, I'm preaching to the choir, right? But we have one of the most conservative areas in the United States up here. We're in our own little echo chamber. We're in this bubble where we watch the news and we see how ungodly it is and how bad things are, yet we look outside and it's not our life. The vast majority of us through the last 2 years of COVID didn't have to worry about wearing a mask, didn't have to worry about our jobs, didn't have to worry about it. Yes, we all had to worry about toilet paper, you know.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that things that are happening now don't necessarily affect us, and it makes us complacent. Right. It makes us not want to care or not believe that these things could happen, and that's why we stress it. You don't have to be a gun nut to understand that if you don't have the way to protect yourself, the right to bear arms, and if it can't be infringed upon, right. Hands down, absolutely. Right, and that's why we are stressing this so much. So, doesn't mean that the Second Amendment is more important than any other amendment in the Constitution. What it means is that without the Second Amendment in that Constitution, the Constitution means nothing.
That's right.
So, all right,
absolutely. And the sign you see behind us, Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? Yeah. Well, let me tell you, Marjorie, when we first started this movement, I was going to a bunch of the GOP meetings, right? Because now that I've got a little bit of, you know, knowledge about how the system works, thanks to my great political team that I had, Joanna Hildreth, I'll give you a big shout out, and you and Denise Burns, I really appreciate y'all's help, and all y'all. I mean, y'all have just been phenomenal helping me. But I was going to these GOP meetings to find the perfect candidate, right? There's not any really such thing as a perfect candidate. We all know that, wasn't. Right? There wasn't until now, right? When it comes to 2A, you're not going to find anybody that's going to fight harder for your 2A rights than that lady right there. Mm-hmm. And but you know, going back, I was asking all these candidates, you know, how you feel about the Second Amendment? You know, tell me what your thoughts are on it. And every answer that I got from all the other political candidates were the exact same, you know. But we went to Rome to the rally, and that's where I met Marjorie.
We met for the first time. We talked on the phone, and those dudes were blown away because I had called them in Rome and was like, "Hey, do you think I could set up a table with this petition?" And they were like, "Sure." I had no idea what was going on. Me and about 3 of our buddies, man, we just went over there to set up a table, and Ray was like, "Hey, I want to come along." I said, "Meet me there. Let's do it."
And that's where I got to meet Marjorie. So I'm asking her about the Second Amendment, and she's the only one that gave me an answer that was unlike anybody else's answer out there. She knew exactly what the Second Amendment was about, right? Mm-hmm. She knew about her freedoms, and she knew about fighting for your freedoms. And I was like, wow, you know, she's really kind of got it going on, this 2A thing, you know?
What was the status quo? And this is what I got. It's, oh man, you live in the state of Georgia. You don't ever have to worry about the Second Amendment. Why are you bringing up the Second Amendment? We got this. There's no way. No. Where are we at? What is it? 5/19/2022. Now tell me where we're at. Tell me what just came out on the news this morning the federal government wants to do. I'll digress.
Digress a little bit, because you're going to get me all fired up next.
I know. I'm trying not to.
But, you know, her answer is the one that it sealed it for me, right? And that's whenever I started fighting for her, you know, because I want to make sure that we've got people in political offices that are going to speak for us. And
Yeah.
she definitely speaks for me. She speaks for Roy, and she speaks for every gun owner out there, right? So she's no joke. I mean, she's no joke because she's taken so much flack in Washington, D.C., even here in our own district. And Jennifer Strahan, right? She's running, you know, trying to knock Marjorie off her you know, her position and everything. But I've got news for you. I talked to Jennifer Strahan at a GOP meeting, and I asked her about the Second Amendment. She didn't have a clue, folks. Let me tell you what her answer was. I asked her, I said, what do you think about the Second Amendment? And she was like, oh, I love guns. My husband's got guns. And I was like, she was a real nice lady, y'all. I mean, a real nice lady. I liked talking to her. I thought she was sweet as could be. She's just nice. But she was like, yeah, I got a handgun, and I can't wait to go out and get my handgun permit. And I'm like, what? I said, man, we're trying to get that abolished. You know, we don't want any kind of permits, okay?
Right.
That's against the Constitution, or that's against the Second Amendment, right? And I said, that's against our Bill of Rights. That's not right, you know? And then I asked her the tough question, because there's two parts in the Second Amendment. You know, the first part says a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. So I asked her about the militia. You know, I said, where do you stand on the militia? And she was like, oh, the National Guard? And I was like, no. She's like, oh,
You
the
mean
reserves?
the dirty word?
And I was like, no. And she was like, what, the armed forces? And then she had one of her helpers come up there, and he was like, well, you're talking about the National Guard, aren't you? And I said, no. A lot of people don't know this, but the governor has his own militia, right? He does.
They do. They have access to, is it the state militia?
Yes,
right?
it's
We
a
have
state
one
militia.
active in this.
Yes.
I was going to mention that with Jim, and I knew it was there, but I didn't want to overstep because I know that there's other militia groups that are affiliated but
Right.
not state.
Right, that's right. So, but folks, we the people make up the militia. You know, and any time that there's something that happens, or you know, our local sheriff can muster you in, right? He can say, hey, I need more reinforcements here, you know, and that's the critical thing about being a militia, is because you have a way to defend yourself, right? You have the right to do that. Now, I'm no scholar on any of this stuff, right? I just read it for what it is, right? And then I read the Federalist Papers, and, you know, I research that, and it explains it all to me real deep and clear, right? So, you know, but she had no idea what the militia was. She had no idea what the Second Amendment was even for, especially when she wanted to get her permit.
Right.
I'm like, for heaven's sakes, y'all. So she utterly failed, you know, my test. You know what I'm saying? She had no clue, and but she's out there gunning for she's gunning for Marjorie's position.
Right.
And that's fine and dandy. You know, I have no problem with that. I mean, I think, you know, it's healthy for people to get into, you know, political offices and things of that nature. So, more power to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And hey, Jennifer Strahan, if you want to come on here, and I'd be happy to host you. I'll give you as much time to talk about what you want to talk about. We're keeping these open so that we can give people a voice, and we can get this stuff out to you guys, the people, right? And as he brings things, I learn, and as I bring things, he learns. And we have to learn these things. We have to gain the knowledge and the understanding. All right, and without that, we have nothing. And the establishment fears our kind of education. They don't want you knowing about the Constitution or questioning the amendments or learning about the Second Amendment or how things work. They would rather just have all of their the square goes in the square peg and the circle goes in the circle peg, and we are the anti to their establishment. And it doesn't mean that we're enemies, but they're not used to this. They're not used to just two guys that can just talk candidly, and we can say whatever we want to about these candidates, and we can provide a platform, and that just blows their mind. You know, and I'm telling you, we've been doing this how many years, and I've been waiting for somebody to surpass me in this. Bring it on. Start this up, you know.
Please.
We need more people.
In
fact,
fact, yeah.
right now, man, we're getting some people looking, and we will get to comments. I promise you. I want everybody that's watching, I want you to be a part of this, all right? So if you have questions, ask them, all right? But let's go ahead. What do we have?
Well, I got this in the mail today, and this is a newsletter.
Now, I have heard, this is the third time I've heard about this today, and I still haven't seen it. So,
and this rag right here, this came from Adam Kissinger's bunch, and so everybody's probably going to get one of these in the mail. You could. I've got several great things you can do with this. See, I do a lot of camping, so. Sometimes, you know, I might need fire starter, you know,
right.
so this makes really good fire starter. And, you know, sometimes, you know, I may, you know, have to use the restroom and, you know, wipe my rear.
Hey,
this
you gotta go,
really
you gotta go.
would help, you know, with that. But this right here, you know, if you want to know who's fighting for you, when you get newsletters like this in the mail, that goes. This is a lot of money, y'all. This is a lot of money they're spending.
That movie Super Troopers? The famous line in there that desperation is a stinky cologne. That's when they're putting that kind of. Well, let me interject. A lot of you I know of people that watch. I actually off and on that day I was here at the office in and out, but I watched that stupid, idiotic trial against Marjorie Greene. I watched her testimony. I watched the idiot law. And come to find out, there was only about 5 people that they found to sign that lawsuit. Now, that's scary. You get 5 people out of thousands and thousands of people, and you can come up with that kind of lawsuit to take a congresswoman to court. No telling how much money that was spent on it. If we had as much money as that they spent for 5 people to take her to court over such idiocracy, we'd have a media empire right here. We'd be live streaming 24/7. So
that's right. And I would love to add to that, Roy, because a lot of people don't know this, but 2 of the people that filed that, well, one of them was the 14th District DNC chairman or chairwoman.
Really?
And the other one is, I think, her live-in husband, because whenever I got to doing a little research on the people that done this, I started, you know, I do research, right? So I start poking around a little bit, trying to find out who these people are. And I'm still looking for the other 3 right now, because I've been busy with the political campaign, but I want to figure out the other 3 too.
Wow.
Right? But these 2 people, for sure, live together.
Yeah.
You know, and they decided that they're going to, you know, these are Democrats that are trying to take the Republican vote away from you. You know what I'm saying? Yes. And I've done a lot of door knocking here lately, and there's something that's really bothering me a little bit about this too, Roy. And I'll just be candid with you on a lot of this, but well, I'm going to be candid anyway.
Sure.
But I've talked to some people, right? And I've knocked on the doors, and you know, they're like, "Who's running against Marjorie?" And I'm like, what are you talking about? There's nobody running against Marjorie that's worth a crap. You know, why would you even ask that question? You know, you're a Republican, right? Yeah, but, you know, they've been just so much, you know, turmoil and division with her. And I'm like, and she's doing something right. You know what I'm saying? They don't attack people that's doing the wrong thing. Or,
right.
You know, what they want them to do, right?
Well, it goes back to the bubble.
Yeah,
the echo
that's
chamber.
right. That's right.
They're comfortable. That's their church pew. They don't want their world rocked because it does not affect them. But when it does, you understand, what we're trying to do is keep it from not affecting them.
That's right.
You've got to be able to know the difference, right? Yeah.
That's exactly right. So my message to these people is like, look, you have a lot of DNC influence that come through and try to nail her to a cross pretty much, you know what I'm saying? And tried to persecute her, you know, for her standing up for you. You know what I'm saying? And I've had discussions with some people that was like, I don't know, man, she's too divisive. You know, I'm like, look, brother, you know, do you love your guns? Do you love your rights? You better stick with her.
Right.
So, you know, we've got to quit looking at the news media outlets, because their main goal is to get Marjorie taken out, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's their main goal. And I saw, I was watching something on Facebook on one of her posts where this guy was like, the first time ever I've ever changed my ballot to a Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm over here going, by the way he was asking her these questions, he was already a Democrat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I've already surpassed all these rhinos right now.
Right.
I don't even acknowledge them anymore, because if you're not a conservative right now in this fight that we have right now, you're a Democrat in my eyes.
Right.
I mean, I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is.
Sure.
And I'm just going to be straightforward about it, because if you're not voting for conservative principles, then you might as well be voting for the Democrats.
Yeah, and I'll add to that, because he's right. And conservative principles are one thing, but you have to understand, like he said, now's not the time to sit on your hands. And now we need Marjorie Greene.
We definitely do.
Look at everything that we have conceded over the years. Look at the fight we have coming up in Georgia, the governor's race especially.
Yes.
Now's not the time to be sitting back and sitting this out. We have to make sure that we're going to get people in there, because Marjorie Greene is a fighter unlike anybody else, right? What is it, Congressman Massey that she's working with?
Thomas
Man,
Massey.
what, Thomas Massey,
Yes.
MIT dude, he's great. I've seen the interviews. There are several
He's
people
impressive.
that are coming out of the woodwork to help Marjorie, but we need to send a very strong message from her district that, hey, we've got the Colton Moore that's going to be right there beside you, that's going to be fighting with you every step of the way. The state representatives that are going to be going, yeah, what do you need? What do you need me to do? Because the attacks are completely relentless. You thought the judge proved, well, the lawyers, everybody, the judge ruled that Marjorie Greene was at no fault. And then you have something like this come out, the Taylor Green Telegraph. They're not going to stop attacking her, folks.
Nope.
So you can sit back in your little bubble and you can say, oh, this is too much for me. Oh, I don't want to. Blah, 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 blah. Guess what? There will come a day, though, if you don't stand up now, because we are the party of the rule of law, right?
Yes.
It must be handled. This gaslighting they're doing, they want us to get mad. They want us to get angry. They want us to go out into the streets. They want us to show ourselves. We have to resist it every step of the way, and we have to do this. As long as there is the rule of law, we have to continue to go that way. So why not get the people that are going to stand up and do it, right?
Right.
So
They either win, or they're really kind of winning now. If you want the media to win, then keep listening to them.
Yep.
Keep accepting this trash that they're pushing.
Was that a pact, by the way? You said it was from Kissinger?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I
I'll have
found
to
out.
wait and get mine in the mail, I guess.
But that's the thing. They want you to get. They want to wear you down. They want you tired of listening to this stuff on the news. They want you just so down and out that all you want is some peace and quiet, and you don't want to hear that stuff no more because you're sick and tired of it. You're sick of it. You don't want to hear it no more, right? Well, let me tell you something. That's when they take control of everything, all your rights, everything that you have. And that's when they make themselves really obvious and prevalent. If you can look in what's going on right now in our nation, this is what they did to Trump, y'all. They did this to Trump. 120% they did this to Trump. They're doing it to Marjorie. Everybody got tired. I'm tired of Trump. I'm tired of listening to all this stuff. So a lot of people didn't get out and vote like they probably should have. And here they go. Now we got Biden. You see what's happening now? The economy's shot. We're paying so much in gas. I mean, and it's not going to stop, y'all.
No.
Food prices are out of control. I mean, and I've got a family, right? So my daughter, my sons, they're living in homes and things of that nature, and they've got rent, they've got bills and everything else they can't pay because they can't afford it. So they're hitting me up for money. You know what I'm saying? They're coming to me because I can help them a little bit, right? Because that's my job. My job is to take care of my family, and I will do so. That's why I am fighting so hard, for what we're doing here. This is no joke, y'all. like Roy said, we need to get off our hands and get in the fight and start working on this. You know, I know you get tired. I know there's things you got better to do. I know you're trying to survive. We all are.
Yeah. Think of it this way. If you think that we're crazy, and I know people think that we're crazy, but best case scenario, we get 5 Marjorie Greene type politicians who will go through the rule of law and fight these people tooth and nail until we get legislation changed. That's best case scenario. What's the worst case scenario? The system completely falls apart. You get somebody like Stacey Abrams in for governor, and your whole world is completely shattered.
Yeah.
And we won't go into the worst case scenario, right? What we try to do is prevent the worst case scenario. So think of it that way. You're sitting there, you don't want to get involved, you don't want to do this, if you let it pass over, guess what? The best case scenario is that we have Marjorie Greenes in there, we have the Colton Moores in there, because you don't want the worst case scenario.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want the absence of the rule of law. You don't want chaos. What chaos is what's going on in other parts of the country, in Australia, and China, and Canada, and we're trying to prevent that here in Georgia. So
That's right. Absolutely. I mean, and you can probably hear the passion in our voices right now, right? So we want you to get that passionate. And I don't know what it's going to take, y'all. I really don't know. I don't know if it's going to take starvation to get people motivated,
right,
or what it's going to take. But I mean, I'm pretty much pleading with you to get off your hands and do something.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I had shut the Catoosa County Second Amendment Sanctuary page down due to Facebook just knowing way too much about what we were doing, because we know that they were monitoring a lot of our posts and things of that nature. I am going to reopen it. All right,
good.
I'm going to get it back open. And
yeah, it's archived, right?
Yes,
so you
it's
can reopen
archived.
it. That's good.
So I'm going to get it back open, because the thing of it is, the reason we started the group was because it was the Second Amendment Sanctuary group. Now we're going to be shooting for, we had to get constitutional carry out of the way first, because that was the main goal that I had before I even started the Second Amendment push. So now we've got the Second Amendment Preservation Act that we are not only trying to get legislators like Colton Moore into office and like Mitchell Horner. I'm going to throw something in for Mitchell there, because Mitchell, I give him the questionnaire, face to face, and Mitchell 100% qualified in my range of where it needed to be, right? With the questions that I asked him, he passed it, right? Then we got Brett Fan out there. He passed the same amount of questions that I had. I'm very confident in Brett. There's one thing about Catoosa County Second Amendment Sanctuary Group that I can say. Now we have 4,000 members, right? I can't make everybody happy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's some people that are like, well, this guy's this and he's better on that or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I got the proof. You know what I'm saying? I've got the questionnaires and I've got the responses, and I look at the legislation, the bills, and everything that goes through. So I know who is the right one to choose,
Sure.
And I get with the staff and stuff too when we talk it over. So, but we can endorse people, right?
Yeah,
so
we can.
We've endorsed Marjorie. We've endorsed, Colton, Britt, Mitchell, and Nick Ware. We've endorsed him as well, because Nick is running for the Catoosa County the chair. I keep on saying Catoosa County Second Amendment Sanctuary Group so many times, it's just like common to me, but he's actually running for the chair of the Board of Commissioners. Nick is a huge patriot. I've known Nick for a long time. I've worked with him. I know the kind of man he is, and I know that he will do Catoosa County very, very good. He will be very fair with everybody. So,
and to add to that, everybody knows how I feel. I mean, I hate the politics. It's a love-hate relationship. I keep up with it, but I'm horrible. The only person that we endorsed as silent no longer, of course, is Mac McGregor. And Mac McGregor is.
We did too.
If I had a genie in the bottle and I had 3 wishes, one of my wishes would be that Matt McGregor becomes lieutenant governor, because you know how much fun that would be watching those people squirm like that. Really,
they would be.
I'm telling you,
they'd be up in arms.
So, but when I talk about my people, I talk about where we stand, and I wish we could keep 2A in politics, but right now the lines are bled, and we have to do what we have to do. But same here, look. and I want to throw this out. Look, if I'm up here talking about, you know, Marjorie Greene and you support Jennifer Strahan, okay, I'm not gonna fault you for that.
Nope.
If you want to do a live video and Silent No Longer for Jennifer Strahan, as long as you're not throwing shade,
Yeah.
you know, or something we got to worry about,
Yeah.
you're more than
Come on
welcome
down.
to do that. Okay, that everybody has their right to do that. You know, I discourage me coming on, which helps me on this channel because we can be more candid with
Sure.
it, and I can share it to that channel. But because I don't want to exclude anybody, and I don't want people to think that our group, because we have too many negative connotations from the establishment anyway. You know, if Jeff Mullis got on our group and realized that, hey, he may not like that we offer these this kind of views for the candidates and all that, but if Jeff Mullis want to come on and defend Steve or whatever,
Yeah, Steve
you know,
Henry, if they want to come out and defend
I don't
him.
care to do that.
Yeah.
I can sit down with you in a room because I don't have to agree with you, but
Nope.
it should be a platform we can make discussion.
Right, and
you know.
a healthy debate is healthy for
Yeah,
everybody.
so you
know
got to
what I'm
get
saying?
over all this stuff. And at the end of the day, and I'm talking to myself here, trust me. But at the end of the day, this primary is, people have it wrong. People are like, I can't vote for her for this primary. I can't vote for him. This is the time to vote, okay?
That's right.
This is the one time that you can vote your conscience and your heart, because once primaries are over, we're stuck with who we have. And that's,
right.
you know what I'm saying? Then we have to, hey, we got to kumbaya, bring everybody back in, and we have to, if I have to pull the trigger for Kemp, then I don't know, I might bring Ray and put Ray's hand in there to push that button. You understand what I'm saying? But it's going, you know, hopefully it's not going to come to that. Hopefully we're going to get other people involved. But hey, I want to go ahead and do some comments right now because we just reached an hour, and
Yeah, we didn't
honestly,
want to take up too much of y'all's
we
time.
have
but
78 comments,
we
and
got to get this out. You know, we need to make sure that people know what's going on. You know?
while I've been fidgeting trying to get all the comments to pull up, apparently I didn't know this, but once the comments go on so long, I guess they've disappeared. So I'm sorry if I didn't get to your comments, y'all. I'll try to answer them back. But we have Angie Kittle here. Thanks for hanging out. Jonathan Garcia. Yes, we the people keeping a free state. Yes, yes, yes. And by the way, anybody that you guys had tagged in the comments, I've been going down and I've been highlighting them and adding a friend, because maybe we can build this page up as a great page to stream live. That would be awesome. Joanna Hildreth, it's always good to hear what Ray Blankenship has to say. Well, isn't that the truth, man?
Well, thank you, because that's not always true for some people.
Hey, people can't handle this kind of honesty, so
They can't.
Jonathan, informed commentary, top notch. Great toilet paper. Yep, that's what I'm talking
that's
about.
exactly what that stuff is.
Send it, Angie said, send it to me for my rescue. I will line my litter boxes with it. Let's see. Bunny, it's good to see you on here. I've been sending requests. And let's see. I don't know how I missed Chris Dean yesterday. I think I sent a request to his wife, but I must have missed him. No bias. Let's see. Make sure. Yep. Turmoil and division. Oh, let's see. We need the guys tagging. Okay. We need to fight to preserve life and rights. Jonathan, absolutely correct. And we appreciate the fact and respect that you tried to go out for the governorship. We hope that in the future that you'll continue to move on and gain knowledge and respect and become a leader in the state someday. We need to be more on the offense rather than defense or complacency. You're absolutely right. We have to stay ahead of the game, right?
That's right.
We have to stay ahead of the game, because what they want. Well, yeah, I get where I get your point. We need to be more on the offense. When I look at that, what I want to say is that, and you might add something as well, but the gaslighting you're seeing all over the place, all right, is they're wanting us to come out. They are wanting us to show ourselves, like I said before.
Absolutely.
And we have to resist every step of the way.
Yep.
because
It's
we
a
still
setup.
have the rule of law. And once we are the only ones that are holding morality. All right, we are the ones that's out here working, trying to raise families, trying to do things right, trying to be productive members of society. The moment that we break down, you've not even seen the machine breaking down until we
That's
break
right.
down. So we have to keep this. And if the time comes that we can't hold it, then God help us all, right? So remember that. We the people need to stand up together and fight. Yes, Bunny, we do, and we all need $1 million.
That's my wife right there.
I know it.
She's a patriot herself. Let me tell you.
Yep.
Don't make her mad.
Jonathan says there's nothing better than fight and get people in that give you more tools to fight. Yes, sir, I agree. Bunny, people need to be educated on these topics. That's
Yes.
correct. I couldn't agree more.
And that's my main reason for being here tonight. I mean, just trying to educate. And that's the thing, you know, if Steve Henry had done what I expected him to do, would, you know, at least get the resolution that we're looking for, and that had more teeth in it, then this could be a whole different outlook.
Right.
I could have been shooting for Steve Henry, you know, saying, look, this is the guy that I want in office, you know, because he stands up for, you know, our Bill of Rights.
Right.
But that's not the case, and that the education is part of the process that we have to go through, you know, because we're learning. People that stand up and take the leadership roles, we learn a lot of things about how the system really works, and a lot of things that you don't know out there behind the scenes that goes on that we do know, you know, and I'll never let a lot of that stuff ever slip.
Oh yeah,
You know,
you can't.
But
you can't.
you know, because it's just things that, you know, not that y'all couldn't handle it, but man, I tell you what, you'd be really, really mad.
Yeah.
And but you know, like I said, you know, Steve Henry's always been respectful to me. He's always been nice to me, and I've always been nice to him. And you know,
Yeah, I
it's
bet.
nothing personal. I promise you that, because I like Steve. But it's the political part of it, and that was something else Roy was bringing, you know, to light too. Is, you know, we don't want politics and the 2A mesh together, but what is driving the 2A right now is anti-gun laws. And if we continue to sit on the sidelines and not do anything about it, then
Or not know. Not know.
yeah,
You got to be in the know a little
Right.
bit. You
Sure.
don't have to be in it with us, but you at least got to know what the heck is going on, you know.
that's
At
right.
least know, say, well, you know what, I really don't like guns, but I know that there's people out there fighting, and I know how important they are, you know.
Sure.
Harley Davis, one of the best guys ever.
Pal.
Thank you guys for all your hard work. You are very welcome, sir. Thank you
Yes,
for
sir.
participating. Angie, and I missed a whole lot of comments, but
You know, Harley, we really appreciate you. I mean, it takes people to kind of stand up and,
that's right.
you know, and
This is
just
my boy.
voice your opinion, and, you know, just drum up some sort of debate. That's all I really want, right? I just want somebody to talk to and educate, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to demean anybody. I don't want to talk down to anybody.
And I don't think you
Yeah.
have.
No, you know, and I'm just trying to state the facts and how I see it and how I perceive it, right? Because we, you know, we all have opinions and things of that nature.
Sure. Let's put it for example. Both of us are, you know, personally, I'm voting for Colton Moore.
Right.
You? So,
Yep.
what are you going to do if Steve Henry gets it?
Well, you know, I guess we'll just have to back Steve Henry.
I guess
right?
we'll have to back Steve Henry, right? It's not like he's an enemy, all right? It's not like these people are enemies. It is what it is. It's up to each one of you and myself to decide right now during this primary. You have that power, all right? So you have the power to change it. I don't know how else that we can stress
Right.
it anymore.
No, because
All right.
Jeff Mullis was calling us the enemy.
Yeah, and Jeff
And we
Mullis
weren't
was
his
in
enemy.
office 20 years, and let me explain something else too. Times change. Things change. 20 years ago, none of these things were under attack. 20 years ago, we weren't talking about critical race theory or grooming in schools, or 20 years ago, we didn't know all of these corporations were, you know, had pedophiles and pedophilic activity going on. 20 years ago, we didn't have our cities completely burning down. Things have changed, and we have to understand that now more than ever the guns are changing. It used to not have to be like this. You didn't have to talk about these things, and now here we are. And I guarantee you, and I haven't seen it, maybe you have, but whatever is going on with the federal government that the Georgia gun owners posted 3 hours ago will be what I'll be watching later tonight to find out where our idiotic government is at because of the last shooting.
Yes.
The last 4 shootings, but only one of them was politicized, and it ended up backfiring on them. So you understand what I'm saying? And in 20 years, it could be something else if we make it.
Yeah. And that's the thing, they will never let a crisis go to waste.
No.
You know, every time they have a shooting, but you never heard any of that stuff whenever, you know, BLM was or that was Dallas, right? That they had the shootings there.
They shot, what, 5 cops from a parking
garage?
garage?
But, hey, you know, no big deal there. You know, let's not talk about that stuff.
Let's not talk about Chicago.
No.
All right? We can't talk about the real gun violence that's going on.
And, you know, these mothers are just bleeding out right now. You know, they're losing their kids, y'all. I mean, it's so sad. You know, I keep watching some of the footage and stuff, and a lot of it you don't find on the news. You'll find on YouTube and things of that nature. But, you know, just these poor women that it's a fatherless home, you know. Need to bring 2 things back, I think. Need to bring, number 1, you need to bring God back into the home, and number 2, you need to bring Dad back in the home.
God and family, right?
You know,
and those are 2 things that's institutionally getting ripped down right now.
Yeah.
So.
And that's where they want us. They want us godless and they want us fatherless, so they can take over, you know, pretty much everything that's going on.
Right.
And it'll be all chaos. So, anyway.
Well, anything else tonight?
Well, I could talk on forever. You know me, brother. We talked on the phone.
We've been trying to do this for quite some time, and it happened. I want to do it more. I want to have more talks like this. I want to just talk about current events. I want to participate with people, because we're creating a community here. What does everybody tell you? I mean, not everybody. What at the end of the day, your community is what matters. The serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change if I can, the wisdom to know the difference. I can't do a thing about what's going on in Washington out there, but I can do something about my brother here and his needs, and he can do something about me. Right. And we can be here to help each other out, and we can learn from each other, and we can take this knowledge away to our families, and we can do more things in the future together. We can create a community here, a strong community, a strong two-way community. And that's what we need to do. So I love having these talks.
Yes, sir. So. It's very beneficial for everybody, I think.
Yeah.
So, you know, just open dialogue, you know, and like Roy was saying, you know, if you want to express your opinion or whatever,
sure.
Come
Man, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, we've got Todd Noblet coming on Sunday. I'm trying to get Robert Watson on next week. Jennifer Tudor and I have something coming up after the primary. So if you're out there and you want to do this, or you want to come over here, just get in touch with me. We'll make a schedule and I'll fit it in. I just got back from a hiatus of replacing a bunch of stuff, but I'm all for it. and I'm hoping maybe we can even do like Zoom panel calls and stuff. You know, I mean, the Democrats love doing that stuff. You know, it must be working. They do it all the time. But so let's get together. If you got something you want to say, I will help you support you guys and keep it open, because just like we had talked to Jim earlier and said that, hey, you know, even if you don't make it, we're creating a community here. And of course, there's some people that we don't want in our community. We have to accept them. But,
hey, don't do that.
You're live right now. So.
Right.
Anyway, we're going to wrap this up for tonight. I could probably go on a whole nother hour, but if you help me out, go to YouTube, go to Rumble, look for Small Town Underground, just subscribe to it. You don't have to watch the videos, but it might be something that comes up, you'll pop up. The more we build, the more we can share. And every person that was in the comments, I'm still scanning them now, I've sent a request, and all this will be is another public place that we can stream without YouTube shutting it down, okay? And then tonight, these will go, tonight or tomorrow, these will be new episodes going up on the channel, as well as shared in other groups up until the primary. And hopefully we can do this again. So.
Absolutely.
All
It's
right.
been a great time just being with you, and especially with you know, your listeners out there too, Roy. I think you've got a great
we got a lot
thing.
of great people.
And
we do.
you know, just get involved. You know, the time is now, y'all. The time is now.
It is, and I couldn't. I always said this before. You know, I was born in Chicago, and I shudder to think what I would be doing up there right now. I couldn't ask for a better place in this world. So
Absolutely.
thank you, Ray.
Thank you, brother.
Guys, until next time, we'll see you later.